Ford Taurus. I worked on a Nissan Altima this morning, and now I got dude. Today's a heck of a day. It's my two least favorite cars in the whole world. Just because I see them so much, and just like when you work on them, you're like, why the heck did they do it this way? The one for this is a 97 with a 3-liter U in the VIN, most common 3-liter they have. It's got this big fat plastic loom apparatus that blocks over the top of the camshaft position sensor. This has a code P0340 or P0340, excuse me. But anyway, once you get this out of the way and remove the throttle body and everything, you reveal, dun dun dun, the abomination sensor. You remember that Jeep video that I did, the Jeep Cherokee 4-liter motor swap? And I showed you how to do the abomination sensor. Well, that's what we're doing here on this. It's just like a distributor. They're using the old casting of the old block and the design of a distributor that would have the cam sensor, pickup, Hall effect sensor in it, and they're just doing it independently. You would never even see that was there. It's like buried underneath the intake boot. It's buried underneath the throttle body. It's underneath that plastic loom. It's just not easy to get into, but once you're there, pull off the top, and I'll show you. It's really quick and easy to diagnose this. There's supposed to be a magnet in the middle of that, like a rare earth magnet, and that came undone and went into that little, I guess you'd call it the pickup, the cam sensor, whatever. This is the camshaft synchronizer, I believe is what they call it. But basically you got to mark it a couple of ways. There's this big open channel, and that faces your bolt. It's pretty much centered over that. And then this, when you're top dead center or whatever, you want to mark where this is. You see that little notch there with the yellow marking. And so when you put this in, it's like a distributor. That will rotate as you put it down in. I'll show you. We'll pull this one out and let you know. I'm going to show you what the new one looks like. You can see this is just a bunch of mushed up metallic Play-Doh, basically. I blew all of the carbon stuff from the... This is your actual camshaft position sensor. I blew all the carbon that got scraped out of this and all the metallic dust. And this is what the new one looks like. Now when you do these, you got to place them side... See, there we go. There's the magnet in the middle. And you can see that that's just obliterated with the other one. You can go back in the video on the timeline and see this is what this is supposed to look like. It's just a half circle exciter ring. Anyway, when you go to do these, look at the base of it and see if it's hexagonal like this one or if it's not, because this is the link between the camshaft, puts power to this, and this puts power to the oil pump. If that doesn't line up, if you don't make that happen, you don't have an oil pump and you'll blow your motor. So you got to check the shaft length, because these will vary, because Ford is kind of cheap, and if they get a better deal or something changes, they'll change 3 or 4 times in a production year. It's really annoying. But anyway, you see all these little angled gear, or these teeth. There's one correct tooth position, or one correct position this is supposed to be, and that's it. And there's what, 16 or 32 wrong, 16 positions that are wrong, or 15 wrong, 1 right. Got it. So anyway, put a little oil on this when you go to put it in. When you go to take the old one out, like right now mine's lined up like this. Remember that notch that I was showing you? It should be lined up right like that, so that you could basically put a key or something in there. So when I pull it out, guess what's going to happen? As I pull it out, it's going to rotate the teeth the other direction. So wherever that one is, as it comes up, I need to put this one in that same position going down in. That'll help line up the oil pump, and it'll also help line up so that when I go in, it'll go clockwise, and when it bottoms out, it'll stop at the exact same position, like that. Let's get to work. So what you want to do is make sure that everything's lined up and that you have a good orientation on things. I thought I had that loose. And then it's not plugged in either. Doggone it. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to waste your time here, but I'm trying to save you time. That's what I'm trying to do. It'll work out in the long run, trust me. So you pull out that bolt. It's 10mm head. It's a M8125 looks like. So you set that aside. I'm so proud of Ford for using the metric system. I could not be any prouder. That's just awesome. So as I wiggle this up, watch that rotate counterclockwise. You You can see it start to rotate a little more. Just pull it straight up. When you do the other one, put it straight in. So it's about where that bolt hole is for the camshaft position sensor. That's where it stopped. So I just keep pulling it on up. We'll do a little comparison, drip oil all over everything. It is hexagonal, that's the good news. Nice thing is if I wasn't paying attention, I could go back to the video and find those marks. Kind of a little fail-safe, happy thing about filming. One of those karma things that comes back to help you out sometimes. So as we compare these, I just do them this way. And if they bottom out at the same time, then we're good. And it looks like we are good. As I said, we're both hexagonal. So, no problem there. So I'll take this, line it up at the bolt hole, about like that. And then I need to get some oil from somewhere. Where can I find some oil? How about right there? So put the oil on the O-ring, and that way it doesn't cut the O-ring or create a leak or some other obnoxious malady. Just kind of wipe that along. Very nice. Go around the O-ring. Alright, beautiful. That is not the best lube I've ever done on an O-ring, but I'm happy to just be putting this in. Ford Taurus, dun dun dun. So many people depend on these cars on a daily basis, and I mean they just serve so well. It can be great cars, but man, they are just not designed to be serviced. They are designed to be thrown away. So I'm having trouble getting the gear teeth to line up and mesh, or I'm having trouble with the oil pump, and it's just tough to say which one sometimes. So I'm getting down so far. Usually you'll engage teeth first, and if I had oil all over the teeth, it would be a lot better. I'm just going to get all oily on this thing. Make a little mess. As one of my buddies here on YouTube says, stay dirty, my friends. I'm not a big dirty person. I like everything to be clean and orderly. But what the heck, right? Get her done. Doing this over the trash. In terms of being green, I'm going to hell. Alright, sorry Al Gore. I'll try to make it up to you in recycling later. Alright, so here we go. Line that up the same way it was. So I've got my bolt centered here. I've got the edge on the fastener. Let's kind of tap, tap, taparoo. If I can get that to rotate and get happy. Hello World is a song that we're singing. Come on, get happy. You guys remember Partridge Family? To watch that show. Whatever happened to the Osmonds and Partridge Family and stuff? Tongue in cheek. I know, shouldn't say that. I know somebody who's a personal assistant to one of the Osmonds. Alright, in you go. I think that's just the O-ring down in there. I think that's just for lack of oil. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in off camera. I think you get the principles. You can see I did this wrong. I'm going to have to do it over again. So if this is in this position, then that needs to be about there. So if I go clockwise till it drops. Come on, drop. You guys want to see down the hole? Go look down the hole. See the thing in the center? That's for the oil pump. That's what's fighting me. You can see the gear a little bit on the left-hand side from the camshaft. So, but anyway, I think that's sufficient. You get the idea. It does take a little struggle. I struggle too. Sometimes you got to reach in there with some needle nose pliers and turn that little hexagon key for the oil pump to get it to go down in nice. But thus is life. You see there, and isn't that nice? I've got my bolt hole centered in that channel right there. And then this little notch is also lined up with the exciter half ring, whatever you call it, tone wheel, exciter ring, whatever. Camshaft synchronizer. Quite the Quite the abominate, quite the jerry rig. Way to go. So instead of a distributor, we make it into a camshaft sensor. If you liked my video, you'd like to see some more, click the subscribe button. That is what it's for. I just made that up. You don't believe that, but I did. You're welcome.
If you have any comments or questions, leave them in the comments section below. I think we're going to do this for Ford Taurus videos, because they're not much to look at of their own.